The unlikely meeting. In a small village nestled between snow-capped mountains and a dense forest, a young boy named Benjamin lived a simple life. Benjamin was unlike the other children of his village. He had a quiet curiosity that always kept him thinking. He didn't care much for games, nor did he revel in the loud laughter of other children, though he never judged them. Instead, he spent most of his days asking questions no one had answers to. "Why is the sky blue, Father?" he asked one evening. "Because that's the way it's always been, Benjamin," his father would reply with a shrug. No one had time for his inquiries. They had work to do, harvesting crops, tending to animals, and preparing for winter. The only place Benjamin found solace was in the forest. It was a mysterious place, full of unseen wonders. Unlike the people in the village, the forest never judged his inquisitiveness. One day, while walking deeper into the woods than he had ever dared, Benjamin stumbled upon a creature so peculiar it made his heart skip. It was a rabbit, but not just any rabbit. Its fur was the color of stardust, a shimmering silver that seemed to glow under the forest's dim light. Its eyes sparkled with intelligence, as if it knew secrets about the world no one else did. "Hello, young boy," said the rabbit in perfect, unbroken English. Benjamin gasped and stumbled back, unsure if what he was seeing and hearing was a trick of his mind. "You can speak," Benjamin stammered. The rabbit smiled, if a rabbit could smile, and nodded. "I can do much more than that, but for now we have a lot to discuss." A curious conversation. The boy was speechless for a moment, but quickly found his words. "How is it that you can talk? Animals don't talk." "Animals don't, generally," the rabbit admitted. "But I am no ordinary rabbit. My name is Relta, and I have come to share with you a world beyond your wildest dreams." Benjamin blinked, still unsure whether he was dreaming. "What kind of world?" Relta's eyes twinkled. "A world where time bends, where space warps, and where reality itself is far more flexible than you've ever imagined." "You mean like magic?" Benjamin asked. "Not magic, science. The kind of science that even the greatest minds struggle to comprehend. Have you heard of a man named Albert Einstein?" Benjamin shook his head. "No, is he a magician too?" "Not quite," Relta replied, chuckling. "He is a scientist, a thinker, much like you. He spent his life trying to understand the nature of the universe, to explain the things that seem impossible, like how time can slow down, how light can bend, and how space can stretch." "That doesn't make sense," Benjamin said, his forehead wrinkling in confusion. "Time is time. It can't slow down or speed up." Relta hopped a little closer, his silvery fur catching the faint light filtering through the trees. "Ah, but it can. And if you're willing to join me, I can show you how." The journey begins. Benjamin hesitated. The talking rabbit, the strange ideas, it was all so overwhelming. But then the boy's curiosity won out. He had always wanted to know more, to understand things beyond the mundane. This might be his chance. "All right," he said, "show me." With a flick of his ear, Relta gestured for Benjamin to follow. The rabbit led him deeper into the forest until they reached a hidden glade. In the center of the glade, there was a small, glowing portal, pulsating with energy. "Step inside," Relta said. Without another word, Benjamin took a deep breath and stepped into the light. Meeting Einstein. The world around Benjamin swirled into a blur of colors and shapes. It was as if he were being stretched and pulled in all directions at once. When the motion stopped, Benjamin found himself standing in a brightly lit room filled with strange devices, stacks of papers, and books with titles he couldn't understand. At the center of the room sat a man with wild gray hair and a pipe clenched between his teeth. He was scribbling something on a blackboard, complex equations Benjamin didn't recognize. The man turned around and raised his eyebrows when he saw the boy. "Ah, Relta has brought me a new student, I see," the man said, setting his pipe down. "Welcome, young one. I am Albert Einstein." Benjamin's mouth fell open. "You're real?" he asked in awe. "Quite real," Einstein replied with a smile. "And I suppose you have many questions, yes?" Benjamin nodded enthusiastically. "Relta said you know about time and space and how they can change?" Einstein grinned, his eyes twinkling with the same mischief as the rabbit's. "That, my boy, is the essence of relativity. Now come, let's begin." Lessons in relativity. Over the following weeks, though time felt different here, Einstein explained the principles of his theories to Benjamin. They would sit for hours at a time in the study, with Einstein drawing diagrams, writing equations, and using analogies to help Benjamin understand. Imagine two people, one standing on the ground and one on a fast-moving train, Einstein said one day. If the person on the train shines a light, both people will see it. But the way they experience that light, its speed and path, will be different because one is moving and the other is not. "But doesn't the speed of light stay the same?" Benjamin asked. "Exactly," Einstein said, his eyes lighting up. "And that's where things get interesting. The speed of light never changes, no matter how fast you are moving. So if you are moving fast enough, almost at the speed of light, time itself has to slow down to keep the light speed constant." "Do you see?" Benjamin thought for a moment, trying to wrap his head around the idea. "So if I was on a spaceship going really fast, time would slow down for me?" "Precisely." Einstein clapped his hands. "That is the key to special relativity. And it's not just time that changes, space does too. When you move quickly, distances shrink. The universe becomes smaller in the direction you are traveling." Benjamin's mind raced with the possibilities. "So if I went fast enough, I could travel into the future?" "Yes, theoretically," Einstein said. "Time is not as rigid as we once believed. It can stretch and bend, depending on how fast you are going and how strong the gravitational forces around you are." Relta, who had been quietly observing, hopped forward. "It's fascinating, isn't it?" Benjamin nodded, his mind swimming with thoughts. "It's incredible," he whispered. "But how can this help me?" Einstein smiled warmly. "Understanding the universe gives us the power to shape our lives in ways we never thought possible. Knowing that time and space are flexible means we are not as limited as we once believed. You can do great things, Benjamin, once you understand how the world really works." The test of time. Months passed in what felt like days. Benjamin became more comfortable in this strange new world, and he continued learning from Einstein. He was no longer just a village boy, he was a student of the universe. But one day, as Benjamin was reviewing equations with Einstein, Relta appeared with a somber look. "Benjamin," the rabbit said softly, "it's time for you to go back." Benjamin's heart sank. "But I'm not ready. There's so much more to learn." Einstein placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You have learned more than most could ever dream of, Benjamin, but your place is not here. You have to return to your world and use what you've learned." "But I don't understand everything yet," Benjamin protested. "How can I leave now?" Einstein knelt down, looking Benjamin in the eye. "The journey of knowledge is never complete. You will spend your whole life learning, but the most important thing is that you never stop asking questions. Always be curious, always seek the truth, and always remember that the universe is far stranger than it appears." Relta nudged Benjamin gently. "Come, your village is waiting." With a heavy heart, Benjamin nodded. He said his goodbyes to Einstein, who gave him one last, knowing smile. Then, hand in paw with Relta, Benjamin stepped back into the glowing portal. The return. When Benjamin opened his eyes, he was back in the forest. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow through the trees. It was as if no time had passed at all. But something was different now. Benjamin was different. He no longer saw the world the same way. Everything, the trees, the sky, the mountains, seemed to pulse with the mysteries of the universe. He could feel the flow of time and space, and he knew that they were not the rigid concepts he once believed them to be.